What's up, people? Thank you for checking out Blockchain Investing. I'm Jeremiah, coming at you on a beautiful Friday. The sun is shining. It's crazy. It's messing up my video, but we're going to go with it. I just had to say, I read an article today on CNN Money about a billionaire investor who has invested 10% of his portfolio into Bitcoin and Ethereum and has said, quote, best investment of his life. That's what I've been saying. I also read in the article that he said we need to protect against financial collapse or financial stress. He would give you the same age-old Wall Street advice, which means diversify your portfolio and pick up a ton of these digital assets. So I just got all giddy because it's like, that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing. Yes. So pick up as many of these digital currencies as you can afford to. And I just picked up a couple more this week because they were added to the Coinomi wallet. I got some Internet of People, some Bitcoin Plus. I'm still trying to get a hold of that. I don't know why I didn't buy it, but I think it's on Poloniex, and you got to. I just didn't send it to myself. But and then I believe there was a third one. Hey, I finally got a second phone, guys, so I can check what the third one was. And we got POSW coin. And I put $10 into there, and it's already $13.55. It's worth $13.55, so up about 30%, I believe. Something like that. So that's doing well. Cryptocurrencies, altcoins are doing well this week. Get as many as you can. Diversify your portfolio. I had a great opportunity with my Smiley coin one night crashed all the way down, and I bought some, and now it's gone back up and recovered. So I'm glad I got to buy at the low there, which doesn't ever happen. I got lucky there. So what I wanted to say is another thing in the news. Let's touch on the news real quick. Another thing that I saw was on CNBC. Elon Musk on mission to link human brains with computers in 4 years. Man, I'm excited. What exciting times we live in. We live in the realm of science fiction, and if you choose to accept it, Elon Musk is so fascinating. He's a fascinating human being. This article, man, he speaks like no one else speaks. I mean, he says things that you would never hear anyone else say. He says, if I were to communicate a concept to you, if you would essentially engage in consensual telepathy. Consensual telepathy. There are a bunch of concepts in your head that your brain has to try to compress into this incredibly low data rate called speech and typing. Who says that? It's amazing. I felt like that's so many. I mean, who has felt that, right? We have all these thoughts in our head that are just rattling like a million miles a minute, and we have to condense all these thoughts into words, and it's very difficult at times, right, to try to come out a coherent thought and really put out a point and put your message down. If we were to have two brain interfaces, you could actually do an uncompressed, direct, conceptual communication with another person. It blows my mind. No one talks like that. No one thinks like that. It gets me excited of the future, man. That we're going to be able to link up brains and be able to actually send emotion, like Raymond Kurzweil has been talking about. We'd be able to send emotion over the internet. You'd be able to feel what people are feeling. Exciting times. Exciting times. So, there is that, and the Billionaire Investor. So that's what's in the news. I want to talk about Elon Musk. He's awesome. I saw him talking with Leonardo DiCaprio about how to power the world, and they said they needed 100 of his megawatt centers. I don't know what they're called. I know that's the wrong word. To power the entire world with solar energy. And it's a great lofty goal for Elon Musk and Leonardo DiCaprio. But in my mind, that's not the future that's going to happen. That's not the future that we're headed towards. We're headed towards a future. Wouldn't it be better if we could get solar panels to everyone, where everyone could produce their own energy. If it was cheap enough where everyone could have their own solar energy, then we wouldn't have to pay Elon Musk for our energy. Because if we just replace the big power centers that are polluting the earth with Elon Musk, that does great things for the earth. Yes, it'll save earth. But it doesn't do anything for us here on earth as civilians living our day-to-day lives. What changes our lives is giving us the power to create our own energy, to take the power away from the big corporations and give it back to the people. And that's what Bitcoin was created, and it has changed my philosophy and put me on this course. And how great would it be? And that's what Solar Coin's trying to do. If we could get everyone to have their own solar power and produce their own energy, what kind of future would that lead us to? Could you imagine a future where everyone produced their own energy? Energy would be free, right? What would happen if energy was free? I've been trying to think about this for the past couple days. Everything I do costs energy. Main one that costs energy is movement, travel. If we had energy that was free, and we could all draw power from the sun, eventually at that point we'd be able to store the energy. And then we could go anywhere. Then it's time to explore space. The final frontier, right? Sending out many, many missions. I don't know. I'm getting off topic, but I imagine a world where energy is free. It just changes the whole paradigm. It's a paradigm shift. But today, I also want to talk about Bitcoin and some conversations I've been having with people around me at work, my family members. If you're like me, it's really hard not to talk about Bitcoin. I can't have a conversation without talking about Bitcoin. It has changed my life, and it is the most exciting things to have ever been created, and the most exciting thing that I get to be a part of. And we all get to have a chance to change the world and make money, and I don't think anything better, right? So many people have discarded it. So many people have said it's bunk, it's bogus, it's fake, it's a scam. Apparently, my boss watched Fox put out a news article about Bitcoin saying all it's used for is buying drugs on the dark web. I'm like, they're still running that story? How many years ago was that story new? I thought that was old news. How many more things is Bitcoin being used for now? Trying to explain this to someone is frustrating. For me personally, because I take it so seriously. This is the greatest thing to have ever been invented. This is the thing that's going to liberate us and set us free. It's unlike anything that has ever existed, and I believe that's why people have a hard time understanding it. So I'm going to try to explain it the best way I can. And it starts with knowing a little bit of history. The invention of gunpowder. I like to think about the invention of gunpowder and how that invention changed the world. From what I've done a little bit of research, gunpowder was invented in 850 AD by the Chinese dynasty. And they held on to the, I guess if you want to call it a patent, the recipe, the secret of how to make gunpowder until about 1300, the 13th century, I think. 1350 AD is when it stretched. It got shared, coincidentally enough, across the Silk Road. How fitting, as that was the first drug website that got taken down. So they held on to this for hundreds of years, and they used it to reign supreme, right? Well, eventually it got shared to the world. And all of a sudden, the samurai warrior could not compete anymore. And they used the gunpowder for all different kinds of things. The Chinese used it for great things and wonderful things like fireworks. Love fireworks. Who doesn't love fireworks? And then they used them for bombs and explosions. The Chinese used them for magic tricks. But then, eventually, by the 1500s, is when they combined the invention of the gunpowder with a barrel and created the gun. And we all know how that turned out. So, for 200 years, gunpowder was invented without a lot of widespread use cases. It was only controlled by the central governments and the main powers, right? The people that were waging wars. And then all of a sudden, for 200 years, after 200 years, then all of a sudden, boom, it was decentralized. That's how long it took for the information to spread, for people to learn how to make gunpowder and put it in a barrel and create guns. And now it's everywhere. And people rose to power and won nations. Nations were created and nations fell because of gunpowder. Now, why are you talking about gunpowder, man? Bitcoin is today's digital gunpowder. Bitcoin was created. And just like gunpowder, once it was created, it cannot be uninvented. You cannot put this genie back in the bottle. And now that we have the internet, it's going to take a lot quicker than 200 years for this to spread, people. Bitcoin has the power to make nations wealthy and to destroy nations. It's a currency that's uncontrolled. It's a money supply. It's a unit of power, if you want to think about it like that. That is not tied to anyone. It's tied to the internet. It's tied to you. You control it. You own it. It's yours once you have it. Bitcoin is gunpowder. And this search for altcoins is the search for Bitcoin's gun barrel. Because right now, all we got is gunpowder. And they are desperately spinning their wheels, trying to figure out this scaling debate to give Bitcoin its gun barrel. What's it going to be? We got to find it. We got to help create this future of a decentralized economy where we're all included in one world. Because we are all one species. Welcome to Earth. Welcome, humans. Bitcoin is gunpowder. Our digital gunpowder. Thanks for watching.